Hey guys, my name's Keyan Houshmand, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the brand new plugin from MLSoundLab, the ML800. Let's have a look. So if you haven't figured it out already, this amp software is modeled after the Marshall JCM800, the 1987 one to be exact. It's actually Miko's own amp. So before we get into the demo song, if you guys want to see more of this stuff, definitely subscribe, like plugin demos, all that good stuff. If you like this video at any time, please feel free to leave a like and a comment on anything you saw or heard. And if you want the tabs, the stems, the DIs and the individual drum tracks for the demo song you're about to hear, as well as other demo songs previously and in future, definitely check out my Patreon. I'll leave a link for all of that in the description. Quick little disclaimer, if you've watched this channel before, you probably already know this by now, but I am on the beta testing team for all MLSoundLab plugins, so I got this a little bit early from MLSoundLab. However, I'm not being paid to say anything that I'm saying to you right now. But enough fluffing about, how does it sound in a mix? So here it is, this is the brand new plugin from MLSoundLab, the Amped ML800, and as you can see, it looks and sounds exactly like a Marshall. So if you haven't used the MLSoundLab plugins before, the whole interface is pretty straightforward. You got your amps here, you got your presets right after that, your pedal board which has a noise gate, a drive, a delay and a reverb, as well as your license manager, and then the amp interface itself. This one's a little bit different though, because for the first time you can actually pick between different IRs in the actual plugin. The whole purpose of these plugins was just kind of have like one all-purpose IR that you could just use and it would sound good no matter what, but for this one they've actually given you a little bit more versatility, a little bit more options. So when you click this cab button here on the bottom left, you actually have 5 different IRs you can choose from. Right now I've got it on the orange one, I was just mucking around, but I think this comes loaded up with the Marshall one when you load up this preset. The whole purpose of having these 5 different IRs here is just to cover a lot more ground in terms of what tone you're going for. If you want something a little bit more classic, probably this Marshall one would be good, or an orange. If you want something a little bit more modern, maybe this Mega Gent one from the Mega Gent pack would be great. There's just a lot of options, as well as loading up your own custom IRs, or you can just bypass it entirely and use another plugin for your IR sounds. The button next to it here, this black button, is your effects button. So what that does is whenever you click this, right now it's off, which means that even though these pedals are engaged here, it's not actually doing anything, but when I flick this button, the noise gate activates and there's a little bit of reverb. Kind of makes it sound like you're in a room. And then moving on to the actual amp interface itself. So pretty standard, you got your input control, so you can set the input of your guitar before it even hits the plugin. If you want to drive it a little bit more, stuff like that. Presence knob, bass knob, mids knob, treble knob, master, and then preamp, which is almost like a gain knob, and then your output, so you can set how loud you want it to be after it's gone through the amp and the cab and everything. Really simple, just like the JCM800, it's almost like a one-trick pony, which this exemplifies perfectly. So as for the preset that you heard in the beginning song, that was modeled after like an AC/DC tone, which was pretty obvious since the whole song was kind of like really AC/DC. But as you can see, I haven't done much to the settings. With the pedal board, the drive's on, level not all the way up, I don't want it to be too saturated. Drive all the way off because I don't want to drive it too much, I kind of want it to be a little bit drier. Tone pushed up a little bit just so it gives a little bit more brightness in the tone, and the noise gate on just enough so that you don't get that hiss when it's off like this. When it's on, it kind of just cuts that out when you're idle and keeps everything nice. Moving on to the cab that I was using, I actually used the ML4 Destruction because it's a little bit drier, kind of like that AC/DC classic rock tone, which is something that I was going for. Presence a little bit up, bass I've kept in the middle, mids I've pushed up to around like 6.5, treble I've got around 8, master I've kept dead in the middle, preamp I have pushed a little bit, it's kind of sitting at around 6, and then the output is dead straight, and this is the end result. Really straightforward, really simple to set up, which is the whole purpose of this Amped line of plugins. It should be just plug and play. You plug your guitar in and when you load it up, it already sounds good. Just a few minimal tweaks and you're there. Another preset I made, the Genty preset. This is obviously a Gen or modern metal focused preset, and that's done by picking the ML Mega Gent cab for a start, and then driving the amp a little bit more, pushing the level of the overdrive and the tone knob, making it really nice and crunchy. And this is what it sounds like. Ever heard Gent in drop D? So moving on to some of the other presets that come in stock with the plugin when you get it. The classic rock preset. Your metalcore preset. And then your modern rock preset, which is something that I really enjoy. Moving on to the low channel of the amp, so you got presets like classic clean, modern clean, vintage clean, spacey ambience, and lo-fi delay. I actually really enjoy spacey ambience. It's probably my favorite one in the low channel. And then last but not least, something like classic clean, where you can just chuck it on and play clean riffs to your heart's content. So if you're going after those like typical Marshall tones or just something like a classic rock tone, this plugin was pretty much built for you. It's not hiding the fact that it's built for this one purpose. It's exactly what it says it is. It's a Marshall JCM800 amp sim, and it does a really good job of doing so. And that's it. So if you guys like the Amped ML800, be sure to leave a like on the video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, definitely subscribe, because I love doing plugin demos like these. If you wanted the tabs, the stems, the DIs, and the unprocessed drums, as well as other good stuff, check out my Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao.